Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Dr. Soo-young, Professor of Business at Chung-Ang University. Professor Soo, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah.
So the pneumonia virus from China, it's spreading to other countries in Asia and has even arrived in the United States. There are fears it could really go global. So what effect is this having economically or market-wise?
Market-wise, currently the Hang Seng Index, particularly in Hong Kong, stock has been affected so much. But in U.S. and other countries have not just modestly affected so far, because this is in comparison with the previous case of SARS, which have broken out in the 2003 and 2 and 3. So at that time, the Chinese government response was under the secrecy. But right now, currently, the Chinese government has opened and then tried to contain this kind of coronavirus. And on the other hand, the symptom that is associated with this novel and the new coronavirus, Wuhan, this is Wuhan pneumonia. The symptom was not as severe as that was in SARS. So to that regard, I believe that the impact is relatively limited worldwide.
All right. Well, the financial markets and FX markets, though, do seem a little unnerved by the pneumonia situation. So when there are diseases breaking out like this, what kind of effect does it usually have on the markets, and what do the Korean authorities need to do about this?
I believe currently the confirmed case is just one. But however, particularly the Chinese economy, as long as particularly tourism and the travel industry could be affected, but in worldwide, the luxury goods producers such as Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, those kind of luxury goods could be affected because Chinese people may refrain from spending money because of these spread of the disease. But in Korea, I think the effect is relatively very limited. But however, as long as the travel industry is affected, then it could have some percussion in some industry, in travel industry and tourism industry in Korea also. But I don't think this could be a catastrophe at all, just modestly or limited impact. So not affected as much as less than the effect that was in case of SARS, definitely.
Got it. Well, in other news, we have the World Economic Forum now underway in Davos. President Trump is there, so that puts an extra emphasis on diplomacy. What kind of things should we be watching for at Davos?
Actually, Donald Trump, right now, the impeachment process in earnest had started, so that could be a really burden, even though he just maintained the attitude that he did not care much about, and he's not afraid or worried about anything about in U.S. But clearly, it could have some impact because in Davos Forum, the European countries, particularly the France and German, are concerned about the tariff issues, digital taxation tariff that was imposed by France in retaliation. What kind of tariff could be possible? And then Donald Trump's speech does not show any indication of the imminent tariff imposition on the motor car makers in Germany and some other retaliative tax tariff on the European countries. But clearly, Donald Trump has always emphasized his success of the negotiation of the trade deal because of the imposition of tariff on the other countries such as China and Mexico and other countries. Therefore, the European countries believe they are the next. But in the speech, he did not show any indication. But clearly, and also the other reason is the people at Davos and the people around the world has been accustomed to the way the behavior and the habitual aspect of the Donald Trump, because he always used a very exaggerated expression such as the biggest, the most, or the never seen before. This kind of expression has created some mood of the anxiety in the past. However, now people begin to wait and see, because they have observed that Trump's action is quite different from what his speech was. Therefore, I think currently, at least the Minister of U.S. Treasury Department, Mnuchin, has mentioned some kind of potential tariff, and the phase 2 U.S.-China trade resolution will not be as expected as, but still the mood is not as severe as expected. So cautiously, I believe that the economy goes. But the problem is all around the world. In 2019 was the lowest growth rate around the world, and then still the private investors and private economies are concerned about the stagnant growth rate will continue. As a result, we expect more dependence upon the government spending. I don't think we have other choices other than government spending. So that's why the government exists.
Got it. Interesting point there, Professor Song. Nothing too dramatic coming out of Davos yet, but we'll have to leave it there for today. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your insights.
Yeah, thank you.